There's a problem with language, and the problem with language is that once you start playing around with it too much, or if you play around with it too much, language loses all its meaning. So there's a technicality here worth understanding before the drama of it overwhelms the facts. George Santos has not been pardoned. His crimes remain on record. His conviction stands. What what Donald Trump has done is to grant well, I think in the American language it's called a commutation, which is like a commute. But that's obviously not a commute to work. I don't suppose he's likely to go back to his old job. It's a shortening, or in this case, an ending of his prison sentence. It's a little bit like Mike Amesbury being granted release from prison after being jailed for hitting one of his constituents not once but 6 times, or 7 times, I can't remember, with a left upper when his back was turned, knocking him to the ground, and all over a disagreement about a bridge. You won't talk back to your MP again. Well, no, that MP is no longer the MP, and it's not that Santos has been exonerated, and that's the point. It's not forgiveness, it's merely a release. It's the difference between being freed from a cell and being freed from guilt. And the parallel is striking with Nicolas Sarkozy, who next month will begin serving his sentence in a VIP French prison. Disgraced but not absolved. I suppose it will be a prison like the Ritz with room service. Similarly, Prince Andrew has not been stripped in the sort of Anthony Boyle House of Guinness episode 3 method. Andrew Boyle taking a bath is not like Prince Andrew ducking out of being Duke of York. Though interesting, he's simply chosen to stop using his titles. Though I think in practice the former Duchess of York, Sarah Ferguson, has actually been stripped. She cannot use that title. In fact, I'm not sure how she will be addressed in future. And both she and her former husband have been disinvited from Sandringham for Christmas. It's playing around with words, because in the end these titles still pertain to the individuals except for Sarah Ferguson. These are distinctions that speak to the modern vocabulary of disgrace, no longer moral but theatrical. It's about letterheads, not about reality. What matters is not what one has done, but how one frames it, how one writes it down, how one articulates it. Trump's commutation of Santos is part of the same theatre of selective morality. Santos, the self-confessed fabulous fraudster and fabulously unreliable fib teller, unreliable narrator of his own life, has become both a symbol and a mirror of Trump's America, where fabrication, spectacle, and political loyalty seem to outweigh law, shame, and truth. Let's recall who Santos actually is, elected in 2022 on a mountain of lies. Extraordinary, just growing and growing and growing about his education, his religion, his employment, even his family's survival of 9/11 or 11/9. Santos constructed a persona rather than a candidacy. He told voters he was Jewish when he wasn't. He claimed to be a volleyball star when he'd never played competitively. He turned politics into self-financed pantomime. Nothing wrong with pantomime, but, it's behind you. And it has its time. His downfall came not because he deceived the electorate. That seemed almost expected, but because he stole, misused campaign funds and lied to federal investigators. When a judge sentenced him to over 7 years, she told him, "You got elected with your words, most of which were lies." That was an apt epitaph for a career built on performance rather than principle. And yet, 3 months into his sentence, just very similarly to the commutation. It makes it sound as if someone's taking a bus. The commuting of Mike Amesbury is Trump set him free. The reasoning, according to Trump, Santos has been horribly mistreated and, crucially, had the courage and conviction to always vote Republican. Well, one suspects this was the real qualification for clemency. I'm a great fan of clemency and compassion and kindness, mercy, but not because you vote Republican. There's something disturbingly medieval in this, as if loyalty to the monarch could wipe away moral and legal failing. As if a quick Hail Mary after the confessional is going to sort everything out. The American presidency was never meant to be monarchical, yet under Trump's use of clemency, it increasingly functions that way. Pardons and commutations are not acts of mercy as much as they are instruments of patronage. Marjorie Taylor Greene, ever the loyal courtier, lobbied hard for Santos's release, and her defence was curious. He never raped anyone, she said. He never murdered anyone. That's a low moral bar, but one that says much about the relativism of contemporary politics. The argument is not that Santos is innocent, but that others are worse. And for the victims of Santos' deception, donors, voters, even a Navy veteran who lost his dog when Santos withheld money from a fundraiser, this is salt in the wound. Justice is not measured by comparison, but by proportion. To serve 3 months of a 7-year sentence is not justice, it's mockery. Trump's defenders say he acted out of compassion, yet compassion that operates only within one's political tribe is not compassion at all. It's self-interest dressed as benevolence. In truth, Santos's commutation fits into a broader pattern. Trump has pardoned or commuted sentences of political allies and loyalists alike, from January the 6th rioters to corrupt governors and congressmen, but the message is clear: allegiance to Trump buys absolution. This isn't the rule of law, this is the rule of loyalty. Oh, Trump, Trump, great Trump. Still, Santos' story is almost Shakespearean in its absurdity. He exits prison proclaiming gratitude to Trump, a kind of Falstaff freed by a self-anointed king. And his first statement says as much: God bless President Donald J. Trump, Donald Jessica Trump, the greatest president in US history. Well, that is if you're a felon. The line reads like something between flattery and performance art, doesn't it? Like something out of Gilbert and George. I suppose Trump and Santos has been immortalised in a fecal deposit. Beneath the farce lies something genuinely troubling. If disgrace no longer carries consequence, if every sin can be explained away by political alignment or public fatigue, or a little prayer to Trump, then the moral infrastructure of democracy weakens, and we begin to treat deceit as eccentricity, corruption as entertainment, punishment as inconvenience. And in this, Santos joins a growing gallery of the politically disgraced who have rebranded shame into showmanship. The greatest showman: Sarkozy, Prince Andrew, Boris Johnson. Oh, let's stain the sofa! Ha ha ha! Trump himself, each in a different way, has blurred the line between accountability and image management. The choreography of disgrace has become part of public life. So when Trump boasts, "Good luck, George, have a great life," he's not just commuting a sentence. He's commuting the meaning of disgrace itself. Commuting, it's not about a pardon. He's not been pardoned, he's just simply been transferred from one place to another. It is literally a commute. The legal technicality conceals the moral one. Travel is a form of indulgence. Santos is free, but unredeemed, just in a different place. Unpunished in body, but not in record. Transmuted, commuted, changed, transferred. The real casualty, then, in this is not Santos, but the credibility of consequence. And as ever in the Trumpian spectacle, the audience is left wondering not whether justice was done, but whether it still matters. If all those people in jails around America get on their knees and say, "Trump, Trump, Trump, we'll vote Republican," will the prisons be empty next week? Well, I suppose they must be, if they shout loud enough, "Trump, Trump, Trump, we'll vote Republican, we'll vote Republican, we love you, Trump." Free the lot of them.